Hey everybody, this is Perch. It's been a while since I've hit this topic, and there's a new audience here. There's a lot of new people. There's some people who've been around from the beginning, but the conditions have also changed. It's been at least a year since I've talked about this, and the answers I got then, I suspect, are a little bit different than the answers I'm going to get now. And the very simple question, we can ask it up front, is what gets you to come back? Let's say you're a lapsed comic reader, or let's say you've wandered away from a particular company or a particular set of characters. We hear that all the time. My wallet is closed to Marvel. I'm not buying DC anymore. Whatever it might be, I'm out. I've seen people say I will refuse to buy anything Image. Image is a little bit of a tougher situation because there's Image of the company, but then you have a lot of the projects are very specific to the creators. So it's a little bit of a different case. You don't see as much of people boycotting Image. You see people boycotting, characters they don't like. And even boycott maybe is too strong a word. There's just people who stop. And by the way, I think it all gets too dramatic as well. It's we describe these things, and the company made me mad, and therefore I am no longer buying anything from that company. But I think bigger the bigger loss in comics are not people who get really angry and leave because somebody's done something to offend them. I think the bigger loss are people who just grow disinterested and go, I'm not going to pay $4 for this. I'm not really offended by it. I'm not, this isn't offending my sensibilities. It's like, yeah, I saw that image of Modoc looking like Trump, and I don't like Trump, and I don't like Modoc, and I don't want to see Modoc and Trump put together. But I'm not offended. I'm not mad. I don't feel like somebody insulted me. I just am not going to pay $4 for this. I think that is the biggest group, by the way. We spend a lot of time online, and and the creators wind up spending a lot of time responding to it. Of these fans who are somehow they got offended and they got outraged and they're going away. But I mean, 9 times out of 10, when I think about customers who come in the shop and drop a title, it's rarely, you know, it's rarely the person did something that made me so mad I refused to give them my money. It's more I can't justify spending this cash on a title I don't really enjoy. I'm out. That's really where it comes down to. And I think with that context, we come back to this question: what causes you to come back? If you've stopped buying comics, whether it's a publisher or a creator, or whatever it happens to be, if you've stopped, um, what would tempt you back in? Is it a price cut? I tend to think it's rarely a price cut. We all would like cheaper prices, but I think if you've left, and it's weird, right? Because I think that people might make the decision to leave comics because of price. They're looking at their bill and going, yeah, hey, $80 a week. I can't justify that, so I'm gonna cut back. But once I think you've made that decision, if suddenly the comics get half the price, and which would never happen, but let's say that they cut the price in half, I still think it won't matter. I don't think you're going to go and go, like, well, now it's $40 a week. I'll buy that amount again. I don't. I think once you've made that choice, then getting you back requires different things. And I think the biggest thing is the simplest one. Whatever the story is, whatever the pitch is, whatever the theme is, it's got to excite you. And maybe it's you directly. You're seeing an artist that you happen to like, or you see a story pitch, you're like, that sounds cool. I want to read how that goes. Or maybe it's somebody you trust, whether it's a friend or a creator or a YouTuber or whoever it is reviewing the book, going, I love this. You've got to go buy it. You know, I've recommended We Live to a number of people. And then a lot of those people have recommended to other people. And now there's a bunch of people reading We Live. And that's great. So I always get a little nervous with recommendations. I have very unique tastes. It's sometimes in comics, and I don't think they always overlap with people. But We Live was a solid one. That was a good one to recommend. Erratic is another good one. That's just going to be good entertainment for a wide audience. It's an easier one to recommend. But overall, I think that you hear a lot about price cuts or the publisher needs to. This is the one that gets me, and this was the last time I asked this question. I got a lot of this response. I will come back to comics when the publisher admits their mistake and apologize for what they have done. So I understand how that might feel, fleetingly good, but let's just play that out. Let's imagine a Marvel Comics, and you're not happy with, the output. You're not happy with, some of the creators involved in that publisher. If you know Joe Quesada, hat in hand, comes out and goes, "I'm really sorry. We messed up. We had people here who were rude, and it's just not okay. We're very sorry for what we've done. We're very sorry." Would the comics get any better? I mean, it would still be the same stuff, right? I don't know what good that apology is. Again, it might make people feel good, but like, if the content's all the same, it costs the same, the creative talent is the same. Like, even if people are super duper sorry, like, does it matter? I don't think it does. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if anyone's influenced by that. I think it comes down to content. And I think it's interesting because there's a lot of time spent thinking about it, talking about it, kind of analyzing the various pieces to comics when they succeed or when they fail. But the actual answer to it all is often pretty simple. It's, is the hook good? Is the comic good? Is the story good? We've got a lot of new DC number ones this week. Prime Syndicate, is it good? I feel like real strong quality content in the comics overcomes whatever sins there are. All the conversation about Nubia. If Nubia, real one, had been drawn by Jim Lee, I guarantee you, regardless of what was going on in that book, regardless of the story, yeah, there still would have been plenty of complaints there. And I still maintain, by the way, I love the person who wanted to who was really kind of determined that I was wrong about being sold in schools. Look, I'm telling you, if you have a school shooting in a book, they're not going to sell it in elementary and middle school. They're not going to do that. Or if they do it, it will be found out at some point by a parent, and it will be considered a horrible mistake, and everybody will apologize, and it won't happen again. Like that, you can't have school shootings in books you're selling to kids in the classroom. Just saying. I don't know. Is that a controversial point? I don't know. Hot take. I give up. Anyway, it is. I think that you can't get around good content. You can't get around content that appeals to people. Yes, it's absolutely true. If you're a small independent company, you can have it go for a while. But even in the most ideologue run company, even in the most where they want to push an agenda, they're going to social engineer through comics, which, as I've said before, is the dumbest possible way. If you're going to try and change society, like, you need to get to somewhere where the masses are. Changing. Like, if for example you're Marvel and you want to radically change the politics and the society, doing it 6,000 copies at a time through America Chavez is not going to get the job done. It's a very inefficient way to do it. You need to get those things into your billion-dollar movies and your games. That's like, at the level we're playing at, and I'm kind of wandered away from the topic a little bit, but at the level we're playing at, you can't, like the idea that sociological change are going to come from comic books when the average selling comic book for the big two is around 30,000 a month. Like, it's just, that's you would be better off throwing your money at BuzzFeed articles or like anything else. Like, that's a terrible plan. but whatever. My question again to you is, what tempts you back? Because there are people in the comic industry who read this and they want you back. And in a lot of cases, I want to dispel the myth that everybody who walks away angry, that everybody who walks away is doing so because they were offended in some way, or their honor was besmirched, or whatever it happens to be. More often than not, people are walking away because they got bored with the title and it costs too much to justify them continuing to buy it. So do you agree with that, by the way? Do you agree that I'm right there? You undoubtedly, you the listener, have stopped buying a comic. All right. We've heard lots of reasons as to why. What would cause you to start buying that comic again? Full stop. Just that's the question. What would cause you to subscribe again? Whatever it might be. Let's say you were reading Spider-Man, you stopped. What needs to happen? That's what I want to know. So, hey, throw your comment, throw your answer in the comments below. I'm curious. I'm really curious to get some of this stuff out, because I suspect if you go back and look at all the comments, the vast majority of them are going to say things like quality has to go up, creators have to be strong on the book, the pitch has to be good, the art needs to be, looks like they paid a reasonable sum of money for it, and maybe some stuff on price, less events. I think you're gonna see all that kind of stuff. I think the thing you will not see very much of is the creators delete their Twitter account and start minding themselves online, which, by the way, again, they should do anyway for themselves, because it's just smart not to make an ass of yourself on social media, as we've talked about many, many times before. But here we're talking about the comic. What gets you to buy it? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and thank you for listening.